having his way around to feed on the animals, and then hopefully make some good progress on the container today. There's also a big load of steel coming. Got a wee party of cows following me this morning. Morning, Holly! So I'm just in the field of rape at the moment. Big breakdown. That's it. Wow! It's the drill working there. First day it's not been raining for a while. Dunk was on the moor all day yesterday, so that's why that's parked up here. Him and Kevin are away along the road to rogue some oats. So what they're doing is they're taking out volunteers of other crops. I think it's barley, volunteer barley, which is in the oats, which shouldn't be there. Load number 2 of 3 arrived as steel.
In all of us, in our hearts, there's love and light that we must realize. We need to feel, we need to use this warmth that could make bright our lives. In all of us, in our hearts, there's love and light that we must realize. We need to feel, we need to use this warmth that could make bright our lives.
So this is the pad of concrete, which is 2 metres by 2 metres square, so we've now filled in around it with the gravel, just leaving the studs bare that the upright pillars will be bolted to. So you can see there's, well, you can't see, but under the ground is that big block of concrete, and that's just going to be the base for this pillar, and the same for all the rest of the pillars. So that's kind of where the sturdiness comes from. This is the second load of steel. These beams down there and over there as well. So these are the columns, so they sit vertical. Bolt holes at that end, that's where the footing bolts go through, so that end's secure to the ground. These bolt holes line up with the bolt holes on the end of here. So these columns sit upright, these beams sit across the way, kind of, so from here up to the top on one side, and then another one from the top down to the other side. So that's number 2 load of steel off. One more to come. That's going to come when the actual shed builders arrive, which is still in another 2.5, 3 weeks. So still just need it to dry up so we can start cutting more groundworks in for the bottom end of it. So far today on the container, I've finished these 3 mounts, both sides. They've painted all along the top seams. And this is the other mount that was finished welding on. So there's 2 pistons go from here, 2 actuators go from here up to between these 2. I'm currently filling in the seams. So these are the seams between the welds. And there's tiny wee gaps, so filling them all in so no water can leak in the way. I've not got along the top yet, done all the way along there, along the base, and that'll all get painted again once it's sealed and dried. Basically just put in the filler, run your finger down it, spreads it out a bit, fills the gap, you can see it coming through at the back. So that'll hold the gap tight. And it won't let any moisture in. So this sealant's got quite kind of rubber properties, it's quite flexible. As the change in temperatures and as we move the container about, that will be able to flex slightly, a wee bit of give, so that it doesn't then break open where I've sealed it. To stop the water getting in here, I've put this flashing on this rim, this door, sorry, and I'll need to put a flashing hanging out over the top to stop the rain going in that gap in there. So I'm just about to cut a piece that'll sit along the top there. So I've got this sheet, so I'll cut one strip. I've not got a full enough length, so 2 of these strips, and then I'll put a frame in behind them, weighed up with some box section. Some of this because it's quite flimsy, this. Plasma cutters are absolutely rapid. I've got this turned down to its lowest setting. Got about 1.5 meters left to cut. Time it. That was 1.5 meters in 10 seconds, so 6.5 seconds for a meter, per meter. That's rapid. I've not had that tool that long. Used to just use a grinder to cut my metal, but I used one of these being lost in the digger man's workshop once, and I had to get one. I did go slightly too fast on that cut. There's a couple of wee bits to do again. So this is my plasma cutter. Had it about 6 months now. Really good machine. Glad I got it. Should have got it a long time ago. But basically how this works, so for anyone out there that doesn't really understand electrics and whatnot, the basics of it is if you've got a fire and you blow on the fire, the embers heat up, and that's effectively what that is doing. It's creating a red hot area and it fires air into it to heat up that area to cause it to be really hot so it can cut metal. So that's how that works. In more kind of engineering-y terms, it's an arc, which is a discharge of electrical current from one spot to another, and through that arc they fire a high pressure stream of air. That air allows the arc to heat up to form plasma, which cuts the metal. More rain. It's getting a bit annoying now. It's at the stage where it's becoming quite detrimental to the crops. Crops are getting held back quite heavily. It's quite annoying because we got all the crops in really good nick. We're really happy with that. But since then, nothing's really happened. It's been cold and now it's been wet. I've not had a good chance to get going so far. There's still time, they're not ruined, but we could really do with heat and sunshine. Someone's bought some straw. Someone's obviously got a lot of money. Sheets chalked, just making brackets to sit on the bottom side. This is basically the edge of the container. So this is my container, and I've got a door. This section is all door. I've got a wee gap along there where the top hinges, so I need to put a covering over there so the rain can't get in there. So this is what this piece and those two sheets are going to be. So the sheets will basically sit along there like a wee cover, and then the door hinge will be under there, and the door will still fold up and sit right out like this, but it'll just sit under that lip. I'll have like loads of these all the way along here for the sheet to sit on top of, and that's the angle at which it will come off of the container. It's about 20 degrees. This bracket has come from, take a piece of box like this, cut an angle on it with the bandsaw, which it's just set up to do, and then clamp it in a piece like this, plasma cut along this edge, and that gets you this bracket. If you've a workshop and you're considering getting a plasma cutter, 100% do it, they're amazing. And if you could not care less about tools, then probably not a guy to watch, to be honest. I've got a bit of an unhealthy obsession with tools. That's it there. So that beam on the base and these three sections, that'll just give it a wee bit of rigidity, and then a weld all along this seam onto the top edge of that. They're just extending the pad a wee bit more. Dad must have wanted it slightly bigger, so that's them finished there at that pad, and it's starting to rain again. So it's Tuesday today, hoping to get maybe some more gravel shifted on Thursday. There might be a break in the weather then. Touch wood. It's not working so far. Question of the day, on this slab of stone, there's streaks on it, and they're not like scratches from a stone. So what are they? So yesterday's question of the day, those angles in the race, what are they for? So chuck a bar in there when you get an animal up there, and you can kind of work her forward. the bar if she's not put her head up in the headstock, just to stop her kind of reversing all the way back out. So this is the headstock. So this gap, the cow comes down here, puts her head through the gap, kind of seeing a gap, thinking she'll get out, and then you close it in, and that just kind of puts bars outside of her neck, and then the kind of jawline of her head can't pull back, and so it just keeps her held steady there. So then if you need to do any injections in here, or you need to get at her back end, then you can do safely without her. She'll still try and have a kick at you, but she can't actually move all her weight backwards. Someone in the comments, Clifford in the comments yesterday, worked out the price of this in today's money through inflation. It'd work out as, I think it was 11,500-ish, 500 quid back in 1960, but I think it'd be more like 20,000 for this. Something like this to be built nowadays. Steel's gone absolutely mental. All raw materials have gone mental, because containers are all in the wrong place in the world, so prices have gone